Well, hey, my friends, I'm so glad that you're with me on the podcast today. I'm super excited to bring you a brand new friend of mine, Rei Llazani, who's out in Phoenix, who has just got an incredible concept that I found out not long ago about called mademay.com. And Ray, man, so glad that you're here today. Welcome.
Thank you, Matt. It's great to be with you. I'm excited.
Absolutely. You know, I'm always on the lookout for anybody that is making life easier for artists and making it easier for them to make money and thrive and all the things that God's called them to do. And love what you're doing. So for those folks that are kind of just getting to know you by way of the podcast or on our YouTube channel today, why don't you just kind of give us an idea of who you are and what you do, and then we'll jump into a little bit of the backstory.
Yeah, definitely. I'll start with a very broad background. Ethnically, I'm Albanian, so I'm an
Wow,
immigrant. Yeah, came to the United States at a fairly young age. I was 4.5, and I
man.
grew up in Arizona, raised in Arizona, went to school in Arizona all the way through university. And really, my background has mostly been in technology, but it wasn't until 2020, as I described, I didn't really find art. Art really found me. And it wasn't until August of 2020 is when we launched our platform as a way to commission artists for consumers and a way for artists to get commissions. So since then, we've been focusing on really launching this platform, growing it, scaling it, and helping as many artists as we can to get commissions from all walks of life. So it's been super exciting.
That is so awesome. I can't tell you, and I'm sure we could probably talk for hours about this, but so many people that were positioned or had the mindset to be positioned and the forethought to be positioned during COVID really have had a great couple of years. And I know for so many artists in our mentoring program, that's been the case. In our businesses, it's been the case. What was the impetus behind thinking, hey, there's a global pandemic, we should start a brand new company
Yeah.
online? And I mean, what was behind that? What pricked your interest with that?
Yeah, well, I'll say this: launching a company during COVID was one of the most challenging times. But fortunately for us, we saw artists, they were often overlooked.
Yeah.
And it was one of the professions that was getting hit the hardest. I mean, artists overnight had their exposure, their visibility, their reach to all sorts of consumers walking through galleries just torn away overnight.
Yeah.
So we saw the opportunity. We were still building it at the time. We hadn't launched yet, but we're like, you know what? Now's the time to launch this. And we launched campaign after campaign to support our artists. And during COVID, that's when it's unfortunate that what happened with COVID, but from a company standpoint, we were at the perfect time
Yeah.
because people wanted to come online. They wanted to find a dedicated platform to help them get commissions online. And we came in at the perfect time. We onboarded artists. In our first week, we had 100 registered artists.
My
So
goodness.
it was a great success. So when we launched, and it was challenging to say the least, but it worked out well.
Yeah. So are you guys serving artists and consumers globally or mostly in the US, or what does that look like for you?
Yep. So 90% of our artists are in the US. We're a two-sided marketplace. So we have a model similar to Airbnb or Uber, where we as a company, we don't have any in-house artists. We don't act as art brokers or representatives. We simply want to do three things. Number one, giving artists a platform that's dedicated for art commissions and custom requests. Two, actually providing that funneling and marketing and sales efforts to these artists. And three, of course, something that we take a lot of pride in. A lot of artists, they get the short end of the stick in many ways. There's all sorts of malicious things happening, and so one of the things that we've always prided ourselves in is ensuring that we're not only giving a nice stream of clients to our artists, but also supporting them even after an order goes through with fair terms, providing protections, guarantees. When things go wrong, which sometimes they do. So that's a brief overview.
Yeah, that's so good. I know just in our work with artists in the mentoring program and talking to artists just online, there's so many people can be freaked out nowadays by, especially if you're new to technology and you're like, oh my gosh, I got this weird email. Is this from a real person or is it not? And they're wanting to, so people can just be really leery. So I love that you're simplifying that process for artists and helping to walk them through it. I'm thinking as an artist, maybe, learning about this right now, and they're thinking, well, gosh, that sounds interesting to me. Like, how would I get involved? So how would somebody, know that mademay.com is a good fit for them? Who's kind of your best fit, right fit, client that you're looking for to serve on your platform?
Yeah, definitely. So if an artist is open for commissions and if they have experience doing it, I will note that we're not an open to registration all. We do have a vetting process a little
Yeah.
bit. That's just to maintain a higher degree of quality. So we're the opposite of platforms like Fiverr, where anyone could kind of come on, and unfortunately they encourage bottom of the barrel pricing, which we're against. We're very big on supporting artists.
Yeah.
So if an artist is experienced and is a talented artist, and they're open for commissions, our platform would be great. One of the unique things about commissions and how we differ from many other platforms is when you sell, for example, you have a storefront, you create original pieces of art. That's great. And many artists sometimes have the challenge, they have an inventory issue, or they create the artwork and they hope it sells. The unique thing about commissions in art is that you don't have to create something and hope it sells. You only have to create it when someone hires you.
Yeah.
So in other words, as I described it, we're not really selling the art on our platform. We're selling the artist, the talent, the expertise on our platform. So in a way, we're selling the person, which is very unique, because it eliminates a lot of overhead and it streamlines the process in many ways that benefits the artist, especially artists who are making a career out of creating artwork. So
that is so good, because I talk about so much. I mean, and everything is I'm teaching artists how to market themselves. I'm always talking about creating intersection points, with your ideal client, where the art that you sell, the ideal client, how can you get in front of them? And I know for most artists, even though there's so much great teaching out there, we teach a lot about that. And what we do, it can be a challenge for them to consistently build a machine that is getting in front of the right types of customers that want to buy their art, that are looking for their art. I'm thinking about an experience I had not long ago. I'm trying to spend money online. I'm like my credit card out. I'm looking for a specific piece of sculpture or type of sculpture. And I was Googling all over the place, and in Pinterest and in Etsy and galleries and in online retailers and all this sort of thing. And I just finally threw up my hands, and I told my wife, I was like, everybody needs the mentoring program. Like, their websites suck,
Right. That's exactly right.
So you guys, though, are, I'm assuming, doing all the heavy lifting when it comes to marketing and getting in front of clients and that sort of thing. So talk a little bit about that without giving away the secret sauce. I'm sure that's really the primary thing, one of the primary things you guys are doing, right?
Yeah. I'm actually happy to give away the secret sauce too. We're very transparent as a company. So I'll actually explain how we do it and what we do.
Sure.
But an interesting statistic is that 65% of an artist's time is actually not spent on creating artwork. A lot of it is, as you described, it's marketing, advertising, newsletter, setting up their website. I mean, all these various things. And this is one of the areas where we come in, right? We're able to lift the load a little bit for artists so they can spend more time, doing what they love and things that they want to do and things that they're good at, creating artwork, right? So you're absolutely right. We try and focus on the business side. It's interesting the way how I describe our company internally. It's not so much an art company. I describe ourselves as a tech company that's leveraging technology, that's using our business background to support the art industry in many ways. So a few things. You're right. In regards to how an artist sells and targets, one of the examples, I'll give you a specific example, is the type of art that an artist might specialize in, right? So on our platform, we're very popular with 3 categories: portraits of people, portraits of pets, and also sculptures. Okay. So those are kind of our 3 categories where we have the most transactional volume. And there's 2 kind of things that we look at if we want to help a specific artist get in front of the right clients. One of them is looking at the art that they specialize in the most, right? So if we have a portrait artist that does pet portraits, we start to question who the ideal client might look like in that scenario, right? And you want to do it in a way that's scalable and has consistent results. So using that specific example here, we might target the pet industry. A lot of businesses that are in the pet industry, you have pet grooming shops, you have vets, those vans that kind of come to your home and clean your pets, all those sort of things, pet hospitals, and unfortunately pet cemeteries too. And so what we would do in that kind of scenario is we have, let's say, a subset of pet portrait artists. We go to these businesses and we kind of explain what the concept is. We have great talented artists. Here's some artwork. And the point there is to not only just sell it directly, but to have them then showcase it to their clients. So in a way, by getting one client through one business, let's use that example of pet grooming, they might distribute that to hundreds of people that are coming through their door a day. So that's
strategic partnerships.
An example.
That's like my core belief in marketing.
Right. Well, that's exactly right. So that's one example on how a pet portrait artist might do it. You have other example abstracts artists. We work with interior designers who have clients. They want to use their interior design services to get abstracts in their new home. That would be a great strategic partner as well. So there's many various examples, and I'm happy to provide this information to anybody that's interested in specifics. We have some articles as well about this.
Yeah, that's so good. As I've built my business over the years, I started my art business like a lot of people did, just doing shows, and that was great, and I met a lot of people. But when I began to really develop a niche of clients and strategic partners, like you said, who would put me in front of their whole circle of influence, begin to talk about me and promote me and be excited about my work. That's when you go from kind of an emerging business to a six-figure plus art business, because you've got essentially this free marketing team that's out there all the time talking to you and about you. So listen, so many artists are going to be familiar with the gallery type situation where, when a gallery is selling their work, they're going to, either buy that from them or have it on consignment for a 50% fee. And for that fee, they're going to do the marketing and all that sort of thing. So how does that work with you guys? Because you guys are doing a lot of heavy lifting. And for those of you who have never done online marketing and running ads and, all the things that we're talking about, it's a big, big deal, a big machine. We've built our mentoring business off of that, so I know intimately what that's all about. But how does that work from a fee structure point? Say I come in as an artist and you find a client that wants to commission me. What happens and what does that arrangement look like?
Yeah, definitely. Great question. And to your earlier point, even about the people and having people market for you, I have a mentor who turned 92 this year. And one of the things he always taught me, he says, no matter what business you're in, you're always in the people business. So it's all about people. It's all about relationships. His name is Summers White. He's been a great mentor to me. So, but to answer your question about the fee structure. So even when we started the company and when we launched it, we've always felt there was a lot of injustices that artists experienced. So our business model has actually changed. As an early stage company, you have some changes, but I'm excited to say that our artist fee is 0%. So when an artist comes on our platform, they set up, and no matter what orders they get, whatever commissions they get 100% of their asking price.
Wow.
Naturally, of course, how do we make our money, right? So we are a subscription fee based company. It starts at just $5 a month, which is $60 for the year, and we have different subscription tiers. So depending on what artists want, we have different tiers to really satisfy different types of artists. Some artists come on our platform and they just say, hey, I want to register, I want a profile, and that's it, right? I'll market it myself. I'll drive people through my Instagram to the profile. Right. Some artists actually come up to us and say, hey, I want a little bit more hands-on. I want you to proactively distribute my artwork. I want you to help me get clients. So our highest tier is $75 a month, and that's our introductory pricing. So depending on what the artists want, there's just a monthly subscription fee, and they could just choose really what they want. So we're here to kind of cater to different type of artists. But from a fee structure, we don't view ourselves, we don't want a piece of the pie for the commission. We're simply here to really matchmake. We call ourselves matchmakers. Yeah. Connect that artist with that consumer. And a lot of our consumers, it's fantastic because people that are commissioning art, they're some of the most tremendous and thoughtful people that you could have, right? They're looking for something unique. They want something special, not something mass produced or, on a factory line, right? So we recognize this. And so we're here to really, give that leverage to our artists and put them in the best spot forward without taking, too much away from them.
Yeah, that is so good. Well, I just love the model. I love what you're doing. I love that you're empowering artists. I'm sure you have some incredible stories of people that are already on your platform, starting to experience success. So anybody coming to mind in particular that you say, wow, this is a great story from our platform?
Oh, all sorts of things. We've had a lot of sentimental commissions come through. So as you can imagine, a lot of customers that come, I'd say half of all orders are roughly of people looking to honor or commemorate someone.
Wow.
So we've had very, emotional stories for using an example, it's a little bit, there's sentimental. But we had a mother who had 2 children. One of them unfortunately passed away, and just before birth, and just 2 years had passed, and she had one of our artists create a portrait of what the 2 babies would have looked like in similar age.
Wow.
So, yeah. And so you have, and our artists, when they get these kinds of requests, they understand how special it is and how meaningful of an impact it makes for customers. So we have these kinds of stories coming all the time. So with every order, I tell our team and I tell our artists, this is something that people are going to cherish for a lifetime.
Yeah.
So every order that comes through, it's not, you're not going to Walmart buying something off the rack, right? There's so much emotional impact that comes with these orders. So we recognize that, and you're right. We've had a lot of orders come through that are just so profound and so meaningful. So we're definitely proud of that, and we recognize how special it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's about the story, not just for the person, but for the artist, and that's why we do what we do, right?
Right. That's right.
Connect with that creative expression of our life. So
that's right.
Ray, I love what you're doing, man. I know that people are going to want to connect with you and find out more about how they could be a part of that and go through that jury process and see if it's a good fit. So where's the best place that they can find out about you and see all the other, types of artists that you serve and how they could be a part?
Yeah, definitely. Our website is mademay.com. That's MADEMAY, like handmade or custom made, and then the May, like the month of May. You could follow us on Instagram. We're only on Instagram. It's Made May USA. Or you could follow me personally. It's ReilLazani on Instagram.
Awesome. Well, Ray, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. Guys, be sure to click the links that are in the show notes on the podcast and the description over on the YouTube channel. And I hope that you'll connect with Ray and all that they're doing to help artists really thrive in everything that they're designed to do. So, Ray, thanks, man, for being on today. What a pleasure.
Thanks so much. It was great being with you, and I had a great time.